What's going on, everybody? It's ETAPRIME back here again. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite mobile gaming controllers. This is the Backbone, and I've got the PlayStation version, but keep in mind they also make an all-black version. This happens to be the USB Type-C variant of the Backbone, so it's called the Android version. But now that the iPhone 15 actually has USB Type-C, it also works with the new iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Max, and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I'll show it off working with the iPhone and Android in this video, but let's go ahead and get this out of the box. So like I mentioned, we've got the PlayStation version of the Backbone, and it does have the PlayStation style buttons, or at least the PlayStation labeled buttons. We've also got a logo around back. And this is what they call a telescopic controller, otherwise known as a stretchy controller. It's got a spring-loaded mechanism in the middle, that way we can kind of stretch it out and place our phone directly inside of it. And once this is connected to your device, it actually adds a headphone jack. Plus, we've got USB Type-C charging over here. I've always liked the look and feel of the Backbone controllers. It's actually really comfortable to hang on to for a long period of time. It does not contain a battery, so don't have to worry about charging this device up. Basically, it's going to be powered from our USB port on whatever device we have inserted. It does have linear triggers around back, so we don't need to worry about just on and off. We've got full throw on those triggers. There's not a lot of throw here, but it does work well, especially with racing games. I like having that extra input with the gas so I can kind of control it on demand. Obviously, we've got the USB Type-C version, so our phone is going to plug in over on this side. And over on the left-hand side, there is a little cutout where the rubber grommet is. That way, if you've got a larger camera hump like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it's going to fit right in here. Unfortunately, these are not removable on the Android version. I thought it might come with a couple different ones like the Razer Kishi, but even the largest iPhone does fit in here quite nicely. Setup is super simple. Basically, we're just going to grab our phone that has a USB Type-C port, plug it directly into the Backbone controller, make sure it kind of retracts on itself. It's going to hold it right in place. And as you can see with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it does fit in here nice and snug. When it comes to iOS and controllers, they've had really great support for a long time. There's tons of apps over on the App Store that will support a controller. This will work with Call of Duty Mobile right out of the box, and even on iPhone, we can run Genshin Impact with a controller. All of the Apple Arcade games will also work with the Backbone, whether you get the PlayStation version or the regular black version. And they also offer their own app, which basically works as a game launcher. This is available for iOS and Android. We've got a Backbone button. We can actually bring up the app at any time as long as it's running in the background. And while we're playing our game, we can swap right back over here. Most of the games that I have installed on this iPhone were automatically added to the launcher right here at the very top. But if it's not, you can manually add it. Lots of recommendations in here, and they're definitely pushing a lot of cloud gaming, just like a lot of other companies nowadays. You can use this to stream your PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 games. It works with xCloud, GeForce Now, basically any streaming app on the market, this controller will work with. And of course, it also works with Genshin Impact on iOS. But remember, you will have to go into the setting and change the controller type from touchscreen to controller, and this will work. You don't have to map any of the buttons. Now, you can go through and remap them if you want to from within the game, but everything's set up properly here, at least for me, and it's really enjoyable playing Genshin Impact with a controller on an iPhone. So obviously, it's going to work great with the new iPhone 15, but one of the big reasons I wanted to pick up the USB Type-C version was for my Android device. I've got the Red Magic 8 Pro, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and this is an absolute beast when it comes to emulation. Now, a lot of emulators on the market do have touchscreen controls that you can enable, but playing with a physical controller is, in my opinion, the way to go. And as you can see, even this huge Red Magic 8 Pro fits right in here. And just like iOS, there is a Backbone app available for Android. So again, most of the games that I have installed on this phone did show up at the top. Got some more recommendations down here. Lots of recommendations for GeForce Now, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and even PlayStation Remote Play. But adding your own apps is pretty easy, and what I found is it does register some as not being able to work with this controller. But I'll tell you what, both of these emulators here do work. Unfortunately, Genshin Impact on Android doesn't have full controller support without a third-party app. But something like the Yuzu emulator for Switch does work. And PSP. So we've got PPSSPP installed here, and I'll show you that, yeah, it does work just fine with this controller. No setup whatsoever is required. And I'd say about 80% of the emulators we can run on Android will automatically map this controller out. Now, there are some on the market that just don't map controllers automatically, like the Dolphin emulator for GameCube and Wii. So with that, you will have to go through and map the controller, but even if you connected an Xbox controller, you still have to go through those steps, but it does work. Pressing that backbone button will bring us right back into the launcher at any time. And real quick, I just wanted to show you that, yeah, this does work with the Dolphin emulator. We've got some F-Zero GX running on the Red Magic 8 Pro. Not a problem. This is one I did have to map it with, but it works really well. Next thing I wanted to demo was this D-pad. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks, but it actually feels pretty decent. We've got Tatsunoko versus Capcom. This is a Wii game. And I can pull off these special moves quite easily with the D-pad. I like the firmness of it. It's definitely a little firm than some of the other ones on the market, but it's got good roll to it, and it's great for fighting games and even platformers. And it's not raised up too high, it's not dipped down too low. I think they did a pretty decent job with this D-pad. As you can see, we do have some room there to move this D-pad around. Another thing that's really important with these controllers that have an auxiliary charge port is charge rate. Some of them just don't charge that fast. Right now, this is connected to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I do have the battery optimization on in the settings. We can get up to around 19 to 20 watts, so we've got a little bit of fast charging going on. Definitely enough to get that battery up while you're still playing a game, but I wanted to test this with a phone that can really charge. That Red Magic 8 Pro will do up to 65 watts without the controller attached, and with it attached, we can get up to around 25 to 26 watts. So not full boat. I've actually got this connected to a 100-watt fast charger. We can't get up to 65, but some of the other controllers that I've seen only go up to around 10 and 15. So yeah, overall, definitely one of my favorite USB Type-C controllers for Android, and now with the new iPhone 15s, we can actually use this USB Type-C version. You're not kind of limited to buying the Lightning version and then it not working on other devices. Plus, it adds that 3.5mm headphone jack, and you know, with a lot of new Android devices on the market, we just don't get that. iPhone did away with it a while ago. We're not going to see that come back. So having a controller that you can attach with that is pretty awesome. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Keep in mind, the one we took a look at in this video was the PlayStation version, but they also have that black version. If you're interested in learning a little more, maybe picking one up, I'll leave some links to Amazon in the description below. And like always, thanks for watching.